Welcome everyone. Happy Friday. How are you all doing? Hello from Ireland. Hello, Misty. Hello, Jennifer. What's going on? Please be safe. Who needs to be safe? Hey, Joyce. How's it going? Sunshine and cold here. Good evening from Niagara, Ontario. Nice. VC, how's it going? Missy Me, hello. Steve H in the house. Hey, Steve. Curious Cat as well. Hello. Jennifer Harris as well. Hello, Jennifer. Nella, of course, one of the early comments. Sandy, Michelle. Of course, Alicia. Everyone say hey to Alicia. It looks like a few of you have already been chatting back and forth. Happy Friday. Corey says, not good. My cousin was killed by a bear last night. Corey, if you are being serious about that, I am terribly sorry. Sandy says it's windy here in California. Also, Victoria in the chat. How's it going? Rebecca tuning in from Stanwood. Oh, I love Stanwood. I just love Washington in general. Jay Barrett tuning in from Ireland. Hello. Tanya, your friend from South Africa. Very nice. Saleo from Germany. Hey, how's it going, everyone? So, hopefully you guys are all doing well. Let me make sure. Yes. Okay. No, there we go. I was like, wait, is it even on me right now? Thanks for hitting the like button on your way in. It really helps the stream out. As we get closer to 100 viewers, if we could get that 100 likes as soon as possible, that's really important for the YouTube algorithm to send the video out to new people to find the stream. So as you're joining, definitely hit that like button. We're going to be going back through some of the Harmony Montgomery case today. Oh, Angela's here. Yes, I made it at the beginning. I'm working and having lunch and tuning in all at the same time. Very nice. Angela, you are a hard worker. It seems like you're working pretty often. So happy Friday, and hopefully you're having a good lunch. Anyways, yeah, so Harmony Montgomery, obviously we've talked about her a couple of times on the channel, but I feel like her story has somewhat gotten lost in a lot of ways. It's gotten lost on me a little bit because the story itself I find to be so confusing as to how it ever got to this point in the first place. Obviously, this is a tweet from the very beginning, the first day I started covering the Harmony case, which was back on January 5th. And so, a fair amount has happened since then. However, also, I don't really know what's happened specifically. So I'm going to cover what I know, or what I know has happened since I covered it on the 10th. Of course, we went through the Chandler Halderson case. We've touched a little bit on the Brian Laundrie stuff, Gabby Petito stuff, when there was a little bit of news late last week or mid last week. And then, of course, we've been talking about Summer Wells here on the channel. But I figured, you know what? I wasn't going to stream today. I wanted to say hello to all of you wonderful people on this Friday afternoon, wherever you are. And so we're going to do a little stream. We're going to go back through a little bit and try to catch ourselves up to speed on the Harmony case before the weekend. All the tier 2 supporters, I just want to say thank you guys. The stream, the tier 2 only stream, is happening Monday evening. So that's another reason I wanted to stream today, is because I don't know if I'm going to stream between now and Tuesday, which is probably when my next stream will be for everyone to join. Tier 2 only stream is happening Monday evening. Hello from Vancouver, BC. Oh, hey, Morgan. Love it. Hopefully you're still experiencing some sun out in Vancouver. I've heard that it was pretty warm from a few different people. I've got family out there as well. Heard that it's been pretty nice. Thanks for joining. Allie, how's it going? Nella says, I forgot who Kayla is. Well, you'll be reminded in this stream, Nella. Chloe's mom says, it has gotten lost. Her mom has been begging for help to find her for a while. Yeah. Well, speaking of, so let's just go into it and talk about some of the some of the things that we left off on last time, because there's a little bit, let's just catch ourselves up and refresh ourselves, and then we'll kind of jump into some of the new stuff. So obviously, if you're not aware of the story, I have my playlist down below. I've only done 2 other live streams on the the Harmony Montgomery story, but those are linked down below. If you do want to, at any point during or after the stream, go over to that and check those out. But we're going to do a brief overview here. Hey from Wyoming. Hey in Wyoming. How's it going? So yeah, January 5th, Brian Enton tweeted, missing Harmony Montgomery's father has been arrested in New Hampshire. Adam Montgomery is charged with assault. So this is all pretty obviously old info. But her dad, who was the primary caregiver, I guess, for Harmony, was arrested. His court date, he was basically expected to appear in court on January 5th, but I believe there was an arraignment that day. The charges and allegations against Mr. Montgomery are merely accusations, and he is presumed innocent until proven guilty. So at that point, there were certain, let's see, it had to do with, I think, some sort of like physical abuse towards Harmony, because it was confirmed by the uncle that he had given her black eyes, all of these really terrible things against him that led him to being arrested. If we remember, Harmony was adopted or was in foster care and separated from her brother. Harmony went missing back in 2019, for those of you who don't know, and she has not been seen since. So she would now be 7. She was 5 the last time anyone saw her. Hey, Ray, how's it going? Also, Kate for Peace is here. Great to see you. I'm just jumping into the Harmony case. We're kind of going through some of the stuff that hopefully we all kind of already know. Cheryl says, my TV is way more delayed. Yeah, sometimes there's a delay. Also, there's always at least a couple, like maybe a minute delay. So I'm kind of in the future right now a little bit, but you're also living at the exact same time. You get what I'm saying? If you've tried to call into the stream, you know what I'm talking about. You'll hear me call in, and I'm still not up to that point yet. But anyways, Harmony, tangent. Harmony was separated from her brother, Jameson. This is them right here. He was adopted into this family right here, Blair and Jonathan Miller, with their 3 sons. You can see that this is Jameson here, Harmony's brother. Shortly after they adopted him, I think one of them is actually a news personality in that area. Shortly after they adopted him, they reported he was like crying at night, wishing she was still with them. So Jameson was taken in by adoptive dads Blair and Jonathan in November 2019. She refused to leave him while they were in foster care. Harmony always changed his diapers and fed him his bottle, which is crazy to think that she, as a 5-year-old, was taking on those responsibilities for her brother. Like, how sweet is that? Like, they were clearly there. She was there for him, right? Jameson, now 5, has been traumatized being away from Harmony, he said. The young girl was last seen in Manchester, so we talked about this in October of 2019, but her disappearance wasn't reported until last week, so the last week of December 2021, 2 years later, over 2 years later. So Jameson basically, I think it says later on, it must not be this article here, but basically, by the time they got Jameson home, these 2 new fathers that adopted Jameson and realized how sad he was to not have Harmony in their life, they basically said, oh, well, let's adopt Harmony. And at that point, Harmony had been given back to her father, he had gained the custody of Harmony at that point, is how I understand the story. And so that's where the separation is at. So it's weird to think that, I mean, maybe they were just going for a boy and they wanted a 3rd son to adopt, but you would think that in the adoption process, they would have been like, yeah, so this is Jameson, and he's the younger brother to Harmony, and they are like this. She changes his diapers. They're the sweetest thing in the world. Like, they love each other to death. And then given them that opportunity to say, like, well, do we want to separate that? Like, I don't know what that process would have been like. I don't know if they're even told, if there are other people in the system that are related to them. If I don't know that process, but it's weird that it took that time for them to get home and realize, oh, we've separated him from his sister, and he's crying every single night. It's super, super sad. Darla, I'm here. Hello, Darla. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream that are people joining a little bit late. I'm seeing some people in here. Miss Wee Lassie, startling that 5-year-old is knowledgeable enough to be able to change a baby's nappy and feed them. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they've fended for themselves to some degree. But yeah, it's good to see everyone in here. VC says, this breaks my heart. He was crying for his big sister. Yeah. Jay Barrett slapped the like button. Yes, thank you, Jay Barrett, for the reminder. Everyone joining. 156 people in here. Let's get that like count up past the 100 mark. That would be awesome. Jen says, children should have been kept together. It's heartbreaking. I agree. And the other thing, so last time I streamed was on January 10th. And this video came out on January 11th with, of course, if you guys are familiar, Brian Enton of WFLA. And so I never got to see this follow-up since streaming. When we were streaming, we knew that they were potentially digging in the backyard of the house that Harmony was last seen at, or last said to have been living in. Angela with the $5 super sticker. Thank you, Angela. Really appreciate it. Happy Friday to you. I love your little, what is it, a lemon dancing? Thank you so much, Angela. But yeah, so let's listen in on what Brian Enton and Josh Benson have to say here. We know that they were at this house here in Manchester, New Hampshire. This is the last known address for Adam Montgomery when Harmony was given back to, put back into his custody. So, of course, upon discovery that Harmony has been missing for 2 years, I think that Adam at that point was technically considered homeless, or he was bouncing around between addresses. So I don't know if they got a proper lead that would lead them back to the house and dig up the backyard and thaw it out. They had these wires thawing out the backyard. If we look at this image here, this is what it looked like. You can see the snow-covered backyards of the neighbors. I don't know if they just thought, you know what, we're going to cover all of our bases and go back to the last known location where she could have lived. Or if they had like a little more knowledge to search the backyard. But we'll talk more about the backyard in a second. Let's listen in on what Brian had to say after they finished their coverage there a day after.
Tell us a little bit about how that played out with the tubing that went into the ground. They set up several tents. And normally you would get an indication that they had a tip or they had something credible to lean into to start digging up a backyard. Did that cross your mind? And did you get any tips along the way to say, yeah, there could be something credible there? Because I find it surprising that absolutely nothing was found in that search.
Yeah, from our understanding, what led them there was not something very, very specific. It was just that was the last place that Harmony was seen and where she lived. And we got some more specific information yesterday about how all of this sort of went down. First, the police showed up there with a cadaver dog. They went inside the house, all through the house, and then to the outside. And what's interesting is there's new owners there, and the house has been extensively remodeled and redone since Harmony and her dad lived there. So they really had to. It was not like it looks anything like it used to. So they started with the cadaver dog, and then when that didn't come up with anything, they used this sonar in the backyard, which hit on a couple of spots, but it's our understanding it was likely like bricks or some type of concrete under the ground.
Okay, so once again, it could. Also Tanya has to go. All good, Tanya. Enjoy your sleep. Thanks for stopping by the stream. I failed to mention prior to playing this. obviously this was the last known location of Adam Montgomery that he, or last address he was tied to. So these are all completely new owners. And now you have 2 years after the fact, law enforcement storming in saying, we need to search your house. They're bringing the dogs through. They're putting the tarps down in the backyard and eventually laying these wires out to thaw it out. Like, can you imagine? I was talking with Alicia about this like a couple weeks ago when we started covering this. Can you imagine living in a house like that? And then all of a sudden there are people just digging in your backyard, and you start to probably Google what's going on in your city, and you realize like, oh, they're looking for a person, a little girl. How horrific is that? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, and obviously I don't know the extent of what they found, and I don't know if they ever clarified that, and we'll get to that in a moment. But big shout out to Hungry Helmet for joining the Level 2 crew. Thank you for the support. I'll call you Helmet. I'll call you Helmet, and thank you so much for joining. If you want to stop by the members only stream Monday night, feel free. There's going to be on the community tab, you'll get to see more info on that. So, hey, thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. But yeah, let's continue on. I just think it's so wild to think that someone was just living in this house, and then all of a sudden people digging up their backyard. Miss Wee Lassie says, wonder if there's any well-known drug gangs / dealers in the area where the search was. Just thinking of how Harmony's mom said she thinks the dad sold her. We'll get to that in a moment as well, Miss Wee Lassie, in terms of like the trafficking situation. But yeah, let's continue on.
But at that point, they didn't know that, and it's so cold here. I mean, it's let me look here. It's 8 degrees right now, so the ground is totally frozen. So what they had to do over the weekend is they ran these tubes all over the backyard and pumped hot water through the tubes to literally thaw out the ground, which is part of what you're seeing in the aerials there. And so they had to run the hot water for like 24 hours. Then they were able to dig in the spots where the sonar picked up on something that could have possibly been a clue. And that happened yesterday. And by the end of the day, around 4 or 5 o'clock, that is when they packed up and left. And we learned that they found nothing.
Again, Brian Enton of News Nation joining Josh Benson, myself here, everybody on WFLA Now. You can use the hashtags that you see here around your screen. We're going to start to feature a lot of questions on this story. One of the reasons.
Okay, so I guess he answered my question, which was they never confirmed whether they found anything at all. I think overall that law enforcement knows more than obviously is out at this point, for sure, just because they've had time to kind of potentially, I guess, question more people that are involved overall. But this case still is just so weird. It's so weird to think about when you really step back and look at it, of this girl being missing for this long, like how, like everyone clearly failed her in some way or another. And I talked about that in a previous stream. Hey Chris, how's it going? Digging in yard would give me nightmares, says Joyce. Yeah, exactly. Misty says, whoever decided that she should be in custody of her father has a lot to answer for. Exactly. So many people failed her. And Amy says, Brian Enton is used to Florida weather. Yeah, Brian's down here in South Florida with me, and I have to say, I've been spoiled this year. I also don't really feel like I know what time of the year it is. I forget that it's in, what is it, January still? February? I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it should be this time of year. So it is a strange thing to live down here. And yeah, I bet 8 degrees felt like so cold. Junebug in the chat, hello. So yeah, once again, those images of the backyard. I guess they had sonar tech that were able to show certain things that were under the yard. But I guess they never were able to pinpoint on anything specifically. Julie says, "Are those lights on in your background? I like them." Yes, I have a bulb that is tied to my Alexa. I don't want to say the Alexa and trigger all of your Alexas if you have one. But yeah, I can change it to any light. So if anyone wants me to change the color later, let me know. I'll just tell Alexa to change the color. So yeah, this is the location here in Manchester. which if you're from this area, I'll zoom out so you can get an idea. If you've ever been to Manchester, I've never been to New Hampshire or Massachusetts for that matter, which I believe is what's right next to it. Yeah, we got Boston down here. So for a little perspective, if we go into a bit of map time, this is the city of Manchester. It looks like a river, Merrimack, I think is what it's called. Yeah, the Merrimack River that runs through it. And then this house that they were searching is right here on the kind of west side of town. So anyways, yeah, Michelle says, wow, so much snow. Never seen snow in real life before. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. You got to see snow sometime. It's pretty fun. Amy says, my mother is from Massachusetts. Yeah, Amy, I guess you are up this way, right? That's, yeah, it's interesting. Thanks for hitting 100 likes, everyone. We hit 100 likes. We have 200 people in here. So if you're enjoying the stream, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps out the stream. Continuing on, this is obviously from our previous coverage. So previously we went through, I saw this screenshot and found that this was the TikTok page for Harmony's mom. She has since changed her profile name from Josiah's Mama Bear 827 to Harmony's Warrior 671222827, which is strange. I assume that is Harmony's Warrior taken? Couldn't it just be Harmony's Warrior? I mean, I guess Harmony's Warrior might be taken already, but I doubt Harmony's Warrior 67 was taken. So I don't know what the rest of that is. If that's the first 9 digits of her phone number or something, I don't know, 8 digits. But anyway, so this is her TikTok page. I think, I mean, this has got exclusive, what I think is exclusive videos. Whoops. So yeah, these are back from, it looks like September of 2021. And then the videos have shifted, it looks like around the beginning of the new year to exclusively talking about Harmony. So mommy's staying strong. I promise we will bring you home. And then the next several videos are clearly of Harmony as well. It looks like she's talking about a mask. No. Okay. Adam. Yeah, I'll go through that again in a moment. Amelia says, okay, so there's no new updates. I've already heard these updates on other channels. Happy you are following up on this case. I'll return as soon as there's new content. Appreciate your efforts. I haven't even gone through the new stuff that I just found out about. But maybe I should start with that. I like to kind of lead into it. I guess real quick, we can of course go back to it, but the biggest thing right now, and I'll go ahead and do this now while we have over 200 people in here. The newest thing that I'm aware of from this case is that they believe that, so this is a summer thing.
Another case
it goes into Harmony, but they believe that the time in which Harmony was, that she disappeared has been narrowed down to 13 days. So let's listen to this little clip here. I should probably start sometimes with the new info to keep people in, but I also don't want to jump straight into it. I like to kind of lead people in so people can be filled in that maybe aren't aware of the case. But yeah, Amelia, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, let's play this.
Of course, that we've been following closely, Brian, is 7-year-old Harmony Montgomery in New Hampshire. Her stepmother was back in court today. The prosecutor did make some interesting comments about what that stepmother might know about what may have happened to Harmony. Share with us what he said.
Yeah, so Kayla Montgomery, Harmony's stepmother, in court today on those welfare fraud charges. But of course, the elephant in the room that everyone is much more focused on is, does Kayla Montgomery know where Harmony is? And at one point during the hearing, the prosecutor actually said that that Kayla knows what law enforcement is closing in on learning. That was the prosecutor's exact quote, basically saying that they believe Kayla knows something, but she still isn't talking. She remains behind bars right now on those welfare fraud charges.
And Brian, the timeline of all of this has baffled so many of us from the start. How a little little girl could go missing for 2 years, yet we're only hearing about it about 2 months ago. We did learn some new information about the timeline and maybe that window of when Harmony was last seen.
Yeah, and this was sort of a big development because police weren't zeroing in on the timeline, at least publicly, but today they did. They say they believe that Harmony went missing in a 13-day window between November 28th and December 10th, 2019. And they say this was a time when Harmony and her stepmother, Kayla, and her father, Adam, had been evicted from their home in Manchester, New Hampshire, and were living in one of 2 cars out on the street. So they gave a description of those cars today: a 2010 Chrysler Sebring and a 2006 Audi S4. Again, just hoping that if someone saw something during that 13-day period, they'll call police.
The other thing before I let you go, Brian, that caught my attention reading what took place in court today was the fact that they had 2 other kids with them, Adam and Kayla, that are their kids, apparently with Harmony around that same time. They're not cooperating, but do you know anything about these kids, how old they are, where they are?
So we know that they're young, around Harmony's age, and what's interesting is in the police reports we've gone through, it seems that it was just Harmony living with Adam and Kayla inside the car at that time. We believe those children are with extended family members, so they are safe, but whether they actually might have some information to help solve this case, that's unknown at this point.
Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button.
So that's kind of the newest thing, right? Oh, was I not? Yeah, I had the thing on. I just switched it to this, right? Yeah. Anyways, that's kind of the newest thing, is that they've narrowed it down. Let me see what that window is again, and then I'll get to some of your comments.
Today they did. They say they believe that Harmony went missing in a 13-day window between November 28th and December 10th, 2019. And they say this was a time when Harmony and her stepmother, Kayla, and her father, Adam, had been evicted from their home.
Okay, so sometime in that span of time there, November 28th to December 10th, Kayla and Adam had apparently been evicted. And so in that window apparently is when Harmony had went missing. Now, I believe Kayla states that she was under the impression that Adam was taking Harmony to the mother's house, Kayla. Or sorry, not Kayla. Crystal. There's so many different names here. Well, there's not so many, but it's hard to remember them sometimes. And Crystal, for those of you who don't know, lives in Haverhill. I think I pronounced that wrong last time, and some people were like, it's pronounced this, and they spelled it out the way I should say it. But she's apparently was living down here, which is only a 33-mile drive. It says it takes about 40 minutes to drive there. And so if Crystal was under the impression that Adam had dropped off Harmony somewhere here, a town over, back in 2019, she may not have known what happened after that. She could have thought it was like Harmony was not in their possession anymore or in their care, right? They apparently had 2 other kids as well, which to me, I'm just thinking, look, I know people get through really crappy times regardless of what happens, but like, how do you get through that with just a car or a couple of cars? So Harmony would make 3 kids, I guess, at that point. So I don't know if kids were staying in other places when they got evicted or what, but let's see, what are people saying here? Junebug says, if I was Kayla, I would snitch immediately. Yeah, I don't know. Junebug, it's not even snitching, to be honest. She needs to fess up she knows something, I would assume is what you said. I think all of them are telling lies, says Joyce. Yeah. Amy, I might take calls. I know you had something to say last time on this case, and I know you're very passionate about the way that they have handled this, Amy. So I may open up the calls. We'll see. Stacy says it's not Haverhill. I don't know what it is. Look, it's something. It's Haver Hill. Haverhill. Haverhill. Meth's a heck of a drug. Oh, goodness. Yeah, that's another thing. Apparently, obviously, Adam has had a massive history in drugs and abuse. Same for a lot of the people in their family. So how Harmony was ever put back in his custody is beyond me. Let's listen in. Obviously, this is somewhat old news, but let's listen in on a little bit of what Harmony's mother, biological mother, Crystal, thinks of the situation. Yeah.
If I can't speak for her, who else is going to? You know? Look what happened for 2 years because I wasn't her voice, or I couldn't be, or nobody could hear me.
Where did you think Harmony was for the last 2 years?
I thought she was with her dad, and he was just being a jerk, really. That's what I hoped was happening, you know, but in my heart I knew something was wrong. Something was very wrong. Like, he was going to extremes to block me and make sure that I couldn't contact her or anything, or even to the point, like, once his family started calling DCYF and he knew, he then cut them off, and then I couldn't even get information from them, you know, because at least I could get information about what was going on through them. Couldn't even get anything from them. He literally cut anybody that questioned him about how he treated Harmony or what he was doing. He cut them off.
When was the last time you actually saw Harmony?
In a FaceTime video, like 2-3 days before Easter. I showed her her basket. I said, I'm coming in a couple days. Mommy got you a basket, you know? I held onto that basket for a year and some change, hoping, you know, that I'd have a chance to give it to her.
And what did she seem like when you saw her on FaceTime?
What did she seem like? So yeah, I mean, that's the mom, and I know a lot of people are they have some mixed feelings about how this whole thing has been handled by all parties. But I wanted to show that real quick. Chris Davis commented this, let's see. They started in the house with the 3 kids, got evicted, lived in 2 cars. Harmony goes vamoose, and Kayla is now living with her 2 kids alone, and Adam is in a car with a new girl. So I think that's what I've heard as well, that Adam was already with a new girl. Kayla was living on her own. Apparently he had like threatened her, knocking on the window with a knife is what I read somewhere. Steve H says, still don't have that YouTube premium. Steve H, I should just get it right now. It should just be 2 clicks away, right? I'm tired of these ads. Boom, click. Is it $12 a month for YouTube Premium? All right, whatever. I'm getting it. Oh, I can't do it right now. I'm going to do it after the stream. But yeah, anyways, Kat says, did the biological mother ever physically go looking for Harmony, like get in the car and drive to where they were? Kat. Exactly. That's what I talked about last stream, is that I don't care how far you live from your daughter or from your kid. I said in my last stream, I would walk from this place. It's only 30 miles. I would be searching like throughout the whole year, right? Or 2 years, I guess, that she was missing. So 100%, that's a great question. I don't know if she went to those lengths. I would assume she went knocking on some doors potentially. But beyond that, it sounds like he really did everything he could to separate himself from her. He wasn't living in that house anymore. Maybe had a new phone number. Was doing all sorts of stuff probably to keep himself from the biological mom. Kayla was stealing from welfare. She kept receiving money from welfare for Harmony the last couple of years. Yeah, Stacy, I heard that. I'm trying to see where that happens in the timeline. I also have this very accurate, or I think what would be very accurate timeline here on Reddit that we can go through, at least now that we know that they've pinpointed that Harmony may have gone missing between November 28th and December 10th. If we look in 2019, November 28th, so let's see, we don't have specific days. November 23rd is the last specific day. Oh, wow. This is very detailed. A friend of Kayla and Adam Montgomery named Tabby Scott posts separate selfies with Harmony, Kayla, and Adam with the caption, quote, "No matter what, I love you guys to death." Friends of the family say that Tabby is sort of a step sibling to Adam. Her father dated Adam's mother for some time, and they lived with each other as kids and have remained close since. Oh, I'm at September, so we need to go to November. So yeah, the Millers. Okay, so it would have been shortly after the Millers adopting Harmony. Okay, so the Millers adopt the half brother Jameson. Kayla Montgomery is 7 months pregnant with DM, biological child of Adam Montgomery. This is based off of childbirth date and average. Oh, so this is super detailed. Thanksgiving, Adam Montgomery claims that Crystal Sorey comes to Manchester to get Harmony. So this is, before I click this, this is from the affidavit. So this is his claim, which I don't know exactly where. So yeah, on 11/18, Sorey reported that Harmony Montgomery, who was in physical custody of Sorey's ex, was missing, and she hadn't seen Harmony Montgomery in over 6 months. Sorey identified her ex as Adam Michael Montgomery. An employee of the Manchester Police Department contacted DCYF and learned of previous addresses associated with Adam. Manchester police officers checked those addresses, were unable to locate Adam. So he, in this affidavit, had stated that he took Harmony to Crystal Sorey's address, which it's like some people are lying here, clearly. Many lies. Where was I? The Reddit thing. So then what happens between then, if there's anything on December 10th? So December 10th is when she was reported, or 28th of November through December 10th. Kayla Montgomery. Okay, here we go. We got to read through all these. Christina Lubin, Kayla Montgomery's mother, claims that she saw Harmony for the last time over Thanksgiving. This was the only time Christina has seen Harmony. She said that she had looked clean, didn't have any bruises, was extremely polite, very cute. It was very brief. She also said that Kayla said that she went off to live with her biological mom. Interesting. Okay. So a neighbor who wishes to remain anonymous of Adam and Kayla Montgomery at the 77 Guilford Street home says that the home had fallen into foreclosure. I think this is where they talk about the generators. I think possibly. So it says the family were refusing to leave and basically squatting before finally being forced out. U.S. Marshals were coming to the home and leaving notices. The neighbors say that she went away for Thanksgiving break and she came back. The family had moved out. So this makes sense for the time frame of Harmony last being seen November 28th through, or they think that she was, whatever happened to her happened between November 28th and December 10th. Thanksgiving, what is that? Like the third Thursday or something of November, something like that. It puts it around that time of after Thanksgiving when Harmony was last seen, and then them being evicted. So that all lines up pretty close to perfect. Of course, we don't really see much beyond that in December. So this is saying possibly Thanksgiving through December 6th. Christina states in an interview that she believes something could have happened during this time, that she saw Harmony on the day after Thanksgiving, and that on December 6th, Kayla and Adam and her 3 kids were homeless and asked to live at her house, but she said she didn't have room. Harmony wasn't a part of that conversation. This interview is hard to read because Christina keeps fumbling over her words and changing what she says. So December 6th, Kayla and Adam were not apparently with Harmony. So it may be between November 28th and December 6th. Adrian, I just want to read what some of you guys are saying, and then I kind of want to go into a couple other things. It's really looking like, I don't know, but it seems like a trafficking situation. There's just too much. It's like they had too much going on, and I don't want to, this is all speculation, guys, by the way. On this channel, all we can do is speculate. All we can do is converse with each other about what we think has happened, but it just seems that way. And some statistics that Alicia, the mod, has sent over to me don't necessarily help me feel any better about that. Real quick, and then I'll get to some of your guys' comments. An analysis of 2020 National Human Trafficking Hotline data shows some trends in 2020. If we scroll down to this key finding here, it says human trafficking is... Oh, wait, no, we go to this key finding. Human trafficking is highly personal. Despite the explosion of concerns, some of it fueled by misinformation about complex child sex trafficking schemes and kidnappings, data shows victims usually know and trust their traffickers. Recruitment by family members and intimate partners was highly reported for all forms of trafficking. While this is the case year over year, it was particularly pronounced in 2020. In 2020, among all forms of human trafficking whose recruitment relationships were known, which is 4,142 cases, the proportion of victims recruited by a family member or a caregiver increased significantly from 21% to 31% in 2020, which is a 47% increase. So, I'm not saying that he trafficked Harmony. I am saying that this is a huge problem, and Cheryl even says that human trafficking is a huge problem everywhere. It's massive. Look at these numbers. Thousands. I think this is like, I need to do a whole video on this alone, of just like how staggering this is. This is one of those things that truly, I think, as humans, we see certain things like this, and it's one of those things where we kind of just turn away from it because it's too big of a problem. You know what I mean? Where it's like, how do we even begin to tackle such a problem? And I got to thinking about like the FBI, right? The FBI is attached to certain cases. I don't believe the FBI is actually attached to this case yet. A lot of people are really desperate for the FBI to get attached to this for more resources. However, I was like, how many FBI employees are there? So I just typed in FBI employees. And apparently the FBI employs 35,000 people. We need to like maybe add 10,000, make it 45,000 people, and help the human trafficking situation. I don't know of the 35,000 people. Obviously it says language specialists, scientists, information techs, intelligence personnel. Maybe we hire a good 10,000 people to look into human trafficking, or maybe a couple thousand per state, right? In the US, 50 states, 2,000, maybe 2,000 new people per state working for the FBI that are just focused on human trafficking. I don't know. Cause like, that's one of those things. I was reading something about like human nature and like massive problems like homelessness and human trafficking and hunger, right? Whatever it is, like there are some problems that are so massive that humans tend to just genuinely like talk about it for a second, and then they like kind of don't know what to do, because what can you do? And so this is one of those things where you read something about human trafficking and you don't really realize like how big of a problem it is. Okay, I want to hear what you guys are seeing, or read what you guys are saying, and then we'll jump back into the next part of this case, which is basically the Massachusetts Supreme Court is now ordering a review of Harmony Montgomery's case. So I think what they're going to get into in this article, maybe, or at least what I've been reading, is that they're going to look into how on earth Harmony was able to get put back into Adam Montgomery's custody. Like, what went wrong? And so I think they're looking a bit more into the case. I'll read into that in a moment. S says, or he murdered her. Yeah, I don't know what happened. I don't know if this is a trafficking situation. I just know that, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Julie Bailey says, comments say YouTube doesn't like the HT word. Careful. Look, if this video doesn't have monetization, that's fine. YouTube is not my main thing. I am here to try to get these stories out there to more people and to talk to them with people like you. I can say HT from now on if that is better, but yeah, anyways, Justice for Harmony. Help is on the way says some states have their own FBI. Yeah, there's definitely branches, right? So you've got like state level stuff like TBI, Texas Bureau of Investigation. I don't know if that's an FBI branch in Tennessee. KBI in Kansas, that's a Kansas Bureau of Investigation. There's tons of different bureaus on state levels. Let's see. But yeah, so let's see what everyone's saying here. Allie says, did the dad and stepmom have addiction problems? Yeah, so let's look quickly. This is Adam here and Kayla dressed up what I would assume is for some sort of like Halloween thing or, party of some sort. They look relatively normal here in comparison to, one second, let me find it. Like look at her face here and then look at it here. It looks a little more sunken in. She looks a little thinner. And I know she's smiling here and she's not here, so maybe it's making her face look more full, but yes, they have been reported it's been reported that they have dealt with drug issues. And we talked about that on a previous stream. This area, and some people even talked about it and spoke to this area that are from this area, is apparently really common. Drugs obviously are everywhere, but it's like really taken hold of a lot of the community in this area. Stacy even just said Manchester is known for druggies. Exactly. Angela says, I think they were on drugs, got clean for a while, and just got back on drugs. Yeah, could have had some sort of a relapse situation. Let's see. Chris Davis says, doesn't look like meth. I mean, regardless of what it was, I'm not sure what they had done in the past, but Jay Barrett says, pretty ironic that they are dressed in superhero costumes. Yikes, but you're not wrong. It is a little bit, they do have matching shoes on. A little bit ironic. Alicia, thank you. Liking the content from today's stream, consider subscribing. Yes, thank you for the reminder. To the over 300 people that are in here, definitely hit the like button. And yeah, if you're liking the stream enough and you'd like to continue following along the journey with us on future streams, future videos, consider hitting that like button. We are going to be covering, obviously, this case more. Maybe touch on it once a week if there's new information, or once every couple weeks. But yeah, consider subscribing. I would really appreciate that. Let's listen in on what this video talks about with the judge ordering for a review of her case. And then like I said, I'll keep reading some of your guys' comments.
Kimberly Budd, Chief Justice of the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court, has ordered a review of the Massachusetts Trial Court regarding the case of Harmony Montgomery. On top of this, the Mass Office of the Child Advocate is in the middle of its own review. Harmony Montgomery was in the custody of the Bay State before a judge there placed her with her father, Adam Montgomery, here in New Hampshire, a man with a history of criminal offenses.
She was placed out of a court in Massachusetts, and there was no communication with the state of New Hampshire.
Now, New Hampshire legislators are working on a bill that would improve its current interstate compact for the placement of children with Massachusetts and other states.
As Senator Carson shared, the original Interstate Compact for Children, which is currently codified in New Hampshire, Chapter 170A, was enacted back in 1965. The version that's in our current statute books pretty much verbatim as to what was in 1965 with a couple modest, not really particularly substantive amendments.
The new ICPC provides a strong legal framework that will require member states to comply and cooperate with the provisions of the compact.
The update also allows New Hampshire to expand its compact nationally.
This compact does require 35 states before it becomes into effect. At this point, I think it's only around 15 states have actually passed the compact. So there's still more work to do nationally.
And so this bill will go on the Senate floor next week, then move on to the House. Now, tonight, there are no new updates on the search for Harmony Montgomery. Once again, if you have any information, you can call or text 603-203-6060. Reporting live in Manchester, I'm Tim Callery, WMUR.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's obviously a little recap on that. It just gets me thinking more and more about, like, the case and the current status of, like, Adam. Don't you think, I don't know, I feel like they could do more, right? Like, this girl, is he just protected by his rights right now to remain silent? Is that what's happening? Has he lawyered up? I guess I need to look into this more. I'm doing that midstream, but it's unclear to me. It's just unclear to me. Julie says, "Hey, you seem a little edgy today, Aaron." Edgy? What do you mean? I'm not edgy. I'm just kind of thrown off by this whole thing. This case has been hard for me. I wasn't going to really cover it much more because it's just like, I don't get it. Like, they arrested the father. He waived his court, like he didn't have to appear in court. There's countless, I mean, everything is against him in showing signs of abuse towards Harmony. I don't know if you guys were in the last stream, but the uncle had said several times, there were 2 times specifically in October and November of 2019, that he saw black eyes on Harmony. He claimed that Adam made Harmony stand in the corner and until she would, like, pee herself. Like, this whole case to me is tough. So if it seems like I'm in a weird state, maybe I am. Maybe I'm just like, I don't know how to talk about this. And I mean, it's just so different than, like, talking about a case like Chandler Halderson. Like, obviously that's a horrific thing. I don't know if any of you were at that during those streams. That's really, really difficult too, but it's a different kind of difficult. So yeah, Amelia, thank you. Aaron, I will stay for all your podcasts. Oh, thank you. Let's see. What are people saying? Help is on the way says, I can't believe the courts would let him keep Harmony after being evicted. The courts should have stepped in. Exactly. Allie says, were there no grandparents or responsible adults around the kids? This is so sad. Nobody was looking for Harmony. I agree. Angela says, when reading through their posts from family and photos, they had a sober moment for a bit. Yeah, it sounds like all of them had moments of sobriety and potential relapse. The mother, Crystal, Chrissy, too many names. She apparently, she is mom of 3, 4 years recovered. So I think she is now sober, to my knowledge, Harmony's birth mom, which is great. Maybe that's why at the time there was no chance of her having Harmony. Maybe she was just starting to get sober at that point. I'm not entirely sure. This is a tough one, though. This is a really tough one. So let's just read through this a little bit. I don't even know what all this says, but this is from the YouTube or from the page Web Sleuths. So it's reported that DCF records reveal Harmony had bounced between her mother's care and DCF for much of her young life. She was placed in the custody of her father, Adam Montgomery, in 2019. We know this, when Harmony was roughly 5 years old. The record stated, quote, custody of Harmony was returned to her father in February of 2019. Once Harmony has returned to her father's care, her involvement with the department ended as she did not live in Massachusetts. Oh, okay. So she was in Massachusetts. So the actual department that was responsible for maybe follow-ups didn't continue because she now lived in New Hampshire with Adam. The records also state Montgomery was incarcerated during some of Harmony's life prior to that. So yeah, that's another thing. It's not like he hadn't ran into issues prior. Like, he had a history that was rocky. And so knowing that, there should have been way more that was looked into prior to the custody just being given to him like that. A source told 25 Investigates that Harmony's care and protection case unfolded in Essex County courts. What's unclear is whether DCF ever conducted a home study before Harmony was placed with her father, and whether any child welfare was checking in on her once that placement was finalized. So it's not even clear whether or not they conducted a search of the house, a study, right, to make sure the house was even fit for her. I mean, that's a whole situation. If you follow the Summer Wells case, it's like, imagine the house was in like shambles. They might not even have let Harmony get back to the house, right? If it was just a mattress in the middle of the living room with no food in the fridge, right? We don't even know if they checked. Says, we found Adam Montgomery has a criminal history dating back to 2007 in the Granite State for charges ranging from burglary to first-degree assault to stalking. Yikes. In Massachusetts courts, we found a 2014 case out of Haverhill. I don't know if I'm saying that right. That someone says, don't say the second H. Haverhill. Or Haverhill. That charged Montgomery with armed robbery. Okay, so 2014, armed robbery. So this isn't even that long ago. And assault with intent to murder. I think I remember hearing this. Yeah, police records indicate the shooting happened during a drug deal. Charges were later reduced, but he served time in connection with the incident. So 2014, Adam Montgomery is charged with armed robbery and assault with intent to murder. A gun was fired. It happened during a drug dispute, a drug deal situation. And 5 years later, CPS, or whoever it is, DFC, DCF, whatever it is, let Harmony back into his life. Yikes. Luna says, I just read about cases like this, and I'm so grateful I was one of the lucky ones to have survived such a rough start. Yeah, Luna. I mean, I'm glad that you are on the other side of a rough start as well. I'm fortunate enough that I was from a family that had very few issues. So reading stuff like this is especially uncomfortable for me because I can't even comprehend it. Oh, cool. You got it on the second try, Aaron. Long A, silent H. Haverhill. Cool. Thank you, Amy. I'll probably still mess it up. Chris Davis says, way more than a druggie. Yeah, he has a criminal history. He doesn't just have a little bit of a drug history where he got tied up in some things. Like, he has proven to be a violent person prior to Harmony being in his custody, right? And so what's interesting is 2014 would have been the year Harmony was born if she was 5 years old in 2019. So the year Harmony was born, either right before or right after, is when he had his robbery with intent to murder. We contacted both DCF in Massachusetts and the Department of Children, Youth, and Families in New Hampshire. A DCF spokesperson told us, quote, due to state and federal privacy requirements, the Department of Children and Facilities cannot confirm or deny if a family has history with the department. 25 Investigates also confirmed that identity of Harmony's mother. She too had a criminal history. We uncovered pulling court records in Massachusetts. DCF has been involved with this mother for many years. She has not had custody of her daughter Harmony since February 2019. And again, police say Harmony went missing in October of that year. So yeah, I mean, it kind of checks out with what we were seeing at the beginning of this, is that it sounds like she's bounced between custody of Adam and her mother throughout her 5 years. And that's really what lines up with February of 2019 when the mother lost custody and Adam gained it. Vivian says, I'm lucky I made it to the other side of abusers growing up. Man. Julie says, just started listening to this case. Is it on the local media now recently? Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff we covered today is pretty recent. This I'm going to cover now. Let's listen in on what these guys are talking about with the potential involvement of Kayla. And that's kind of what the title of this is about, or on the thumbnail. I say that Kayla has to know something, and I only say that because I feel like she would have to know something, unless they split and Adam went to go with another girl, live in a car, and Kayla was stuck with the other two kids, and she was just under the impression that Adam took Harmony to the other mother in down in Massachusetts. Maybe Kayla knows nothing, but let's listen in on what these four have to say about the fraud charges and her possible knowledge of something.
Kirk, 1 charge gone and 3 in its place for Kayla Montgomery. The charges are similar but different. How so?
Yeah, well, one of the most obvious differences that's going to stand out to people is we went from a misdemeanor to a felony. And it shows that the state now is wanting to turn up the heat on Miss Montgomery. But of course, it means more jail time, prison time, that sort of thing. But the other thing it does that people might not think about is if somebody's convicted of a felony, they're not eligible for some of the social services, the programs, especially if they're defrauding those programs moving on in the future. So she wouldn't be eligible for some of those services. And all that is to turn up the heat under the theory that they think she knows something about perhaps what Harmony's father did or what happened to Harmony in general.
And maybe it creates incentives for her to actually give that information because they can remove some of those collateral consequences you're talking about if she plays ball. Terry, as this case evolves with new information coming to light, how does it affect the search for Harmony and the cases against Kayla and Adam?
Well, Brian, the more information they uncover, the better we'll be able to determine exactly what happened to Harmony, and the better they'll be able to prosecute the cases against the defendants. But I think the FBI should be called into this, and I understand that the police has spoken to the FBI, but they've not yet responded to the case and may not. They need resources here so they can investigate Adam and Kayla Montgomery, but also the biological mom and also the Department of Children's Services for both, in my opinion, Massachusetts and New Hampshire.
Now, Anjanette, what do we know about the investigation so far into Harmony's disappearance?
Tight-lipped about the investigation, but we know over the last weekend, police had gone to the last known address of Harmony Montgomery. She hadn't lived there, and neither had her parents in some time. Her father hadn't lived there, but they searched that property. What they found, what they were looking for, is not exactly clear. Obviously, any evidence of Harmony, they said they're trying to find her alive and hopeful to find her alive, but they're obviously looking for anything that can lead them to any information about what happened to her.
And as Anjanette said, they are looking for more and more information. Of course, they have that reward of, I believe you said $100,004. And if you have information about young Montgomery, please send that information. Thank you all.
So that's a little bit of what they're talking about with Kayla, and I see some comments coming in. Chelsea says, I don't think Adam will ever talk. Kayla will talk. She'll speak up after she clears her mind, completes a successful detox. She'll eventually go towards the light. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, if she is coming off of something and needs to get through what she's going through, maybe she will. And that's what they're saying here is maybe they'll hang a few things out in front of Kayla and say, hey, you need to talk, or you may be on the hook for some of this kind of by association, right? If she was with him, I don't know what all the legality is with that, like if she could technically be on the hook for certain things, but I think that they can get her to talk. I kind of agree. I don't think Adam will, but that's an interesting point. Thank you, Chelsea. It's sad how far behind police and CPS really are, says Jennifer. Also, I read a comment from Angela talking about the things she's gone through. Yeah, it sounds like so many of you have gone through really, really difficult times. So I'm glad to know you guys are on the other side of it. But also, in addition to that, I just want to mention they were getting to information. If you have any information, I have also listed down below. Obviously, if you have information on this, you're going to come forward. I do have the number listed down below in the description. If you have any info on this case, not that my channel's reaching too far and wide, but then again, we have people from this area in the stream, right? We've got Amy. She's from that area. Some others in the previous streams called in. They were from that area. Obviously, you never know who could come across these videos and step up and say something. Sharon Edwards, I think it was a lack of communication between states. No excuse for this. Absolutely. Junebug Adam is the definition of red flag. Claire, darn, we're glad to have you now. What's Claire doing? Claire. Sorry if I'm missing any comments, by the way, everyone. I do my best to try to stay on track. Claire says, only just seen you are now live. Oh, it's all good, Claire. It was kind of an impromptu stream. Hunter says, late, but I made it. Yeah, thanks for being here. Yeah, like I said, impromptu stream. Wanted to touch on the Harmony Montgomery case a bit more since it's been 18 days since I was last live on the 10th. So there were some other good comments that rolled by, so I want to quickly read those before I move on. Is it true Harmony's father was the one responsible for her losing her vision on her right eye? That I'm not sure of, Alex. Not sure. Misty says she's a gorgeous kid. The way she looked after her brother shows she had a good heart. Yeah, I saw your comment earlier, Misty, as well. The fact that she was changing her brother's diaper and feeding him and just taking care of him in the way she was just goes to show, like, how broken the situation was, right? No kid should have to do that, should have to look over someone that much. Darla says, Children's Services let this happen. They didn't do their job. It really does sound like that. Stacy says, Aaron, you're doing a great job. Thanks so much, Stacy. I appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for being here. We've hit 200 likes, by the way. Thank you guys for helping us cross over the 200 like threshold. We're also nearing 17,200 subscribers. So we're only like 40 subscribers away roughly. So if you're enjoying the stream, this is my reminder to you to take it that next level and hit the subscribe button, or consider hitting the subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. G Mama 420 says, thank you, Aaron, for keeping the missing children cases alive. We cannot forget about these kids. Praying for these sweet angels. Absolutely. Angela says, I have a bigger heart because of it. Absolutely. Anyways, we'll check on that at the end. Consider subscribing if you're enjoying. I appreciate it. Ali says, sometimes it's harder to think of them being alive and what they could be going through. This is hard. I honestly don't think about them giving Harmony away. I've lost hope in humanity. Whew, man, that's tough. I'm going through some of the stuff here from the last stream. Oh, these are... Okay, so yeah, I went through and actually found in our last stream some of the properties that were associated with the parents, and by parents I mean Adam. So apparently Adam was associated with this address in some way, shape, or form. I went and actually found this address. It didn't take too long, but I was able to find this building, and it matches perfectly. And then I found a listing for this building on apartments.com, and I didn't know if it was some sort of halfway house or some sort of a some sort of a sober living situation, but it doesn't appear so. It appears that this is an apartment of some sort. So if we can get some map times for those that are tier 1 or 2 members, we can get a little map time in the chat since we're diving into the maps. Custom emojis are unlocked when you become a member. But yeah, I found that this was an apartment. So if you see here, this is the map between, and I don't think that this is probably super valuable information, but this is in between the 2 properties. So this is the house that they searched the backyard of, where Adam was reported to live last, where Harmony's last known location was. Sandy coming in, Claire, Joyce. Thank you for the map times. Angela. We are only like 5 miles from these 2 locations. So I don't know if Adam at one point lived in this apartment or what his association with it was. Ty says, could it have been a state paid apartment? Absolutely. Who knows? I looked into it a bit more. I wasn't able to find anything tied to that. But then again, you never know. We went into kind of some different areas in this on this map that, looking at the different crimes in that area for that apartment that we were just looking at. And yeah, let me catch up on a couple of things here. Ooh, okay. I'm going to do a poll. And this one is, I'm going to probably be doing maybe 2. I'll do a quick one for the 300 people that are here. Now, this is a tough one. After everything that has been said, this story, obviously, a lot of us believe people know more. But with all of that said, do you think after all of this, 2 years since the last time Harmony has been seen, do you think that she is alive? And I know that this is a tough one to vote on, but we've got 300 people in here, and I'm curious as to what people's thoughts are. Mel, Aaron, and Gisela are my faves. Thank you, Vicky. Is someone from Mel's chat in here? Or, I mean, I know some of you guys watch Mel as well. I really enjoy Mel's channel. Stacy says Aaron and Mel are my favorites. Thank you so much, Stacy. Mel's like I've said in the last couple streams, Mel's a good guy. I enjoy his content. He covers so much stuff. So I know we only, it seems like, focus on certain things here. I'm also working pretty much a full-time thing, full-time hours on another project. So it's hard to be covering as much as someone like Mel and Gisela from Grizzly True Crime cover. But yeah, we do as much as we can here. Missy Me says, who's Mel? Ikid Mel was someone who kind of shouted out my channel back in the day when I was covering the Gabby Petito. He was covering Gabby Petito, Brian Laundrie. I made a couple videos that he shouted out, and so I got a big push from his audience. But yeah, he's a cool guy. Kate says, I think maybe his harsh punishments got taken too far. Interesting. I hope not. My gosh. I guess let's read through this a little bit more. I don't even know if you guys are able to read that. Probably. You do great, Aaron. Thank you, Joyce. Appreciate it. November, December, Kayla Montgomery claims that this is the last day she sees Harmony in person. She says that Adam was taking her to her biological mother, Crystal, and never saw or heard from her since. So apparently, this is, once again, it's saying November, December. This goes in line with that November 28th through December 10th time frame that law enforcement is now saying they believe is that narrowed down time frame that Harmony went missing or whatever the case was. That's what Kayla is claiming, that she never saw her after that, claiming that Adam took her to Crystal. So then we move to January 2019, which this doesn't make sense. Oh, Sandy. Good job. Thank you so much, Sandy, for the super sticker. Really appreciate that. Thanks so much for the support, Sandy. Really appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Shouldn't this be 2020? This doesn't make, there's a typo. Looks like a typo because now we're seeing 2020 down here. January 20th, 2019. Biological child of Kayla Montgomery and Adam Montgomery is born. Okay. February, Kayla Montgomery becomes pregnant with, man, too many kids. Too many kids. This is just a calculated based off birth. Okay, so these are all calculations based off of birth dates of when Kayla Montgomery would have become pregnant with CM, which is the biological child of Adam Montgomery. Because these kids have now since been born, obviously, if they were conceived in 2020. Crystal tells the Millers she hasn't been able to reach Adam or speak with Harmony. Oh, that's an interesting one. The Millers being the family that adopted Jameson, Harmony's half-brother. So she tells the Millers. So she was telling people, it sounds like, that she wasn't able to get a hold of them. Tara Loves Forensics, new sub. I still am shocked. 2 years to report her missing is so disheartening. Thank you, Tara, for being here. Thanks for being a new sub. Really appreciate it. Sandy, Aaron, thank you for all you do. Thank you. Joyce says the uncle that claims he knew should have got her out. I agree. Victoria says, I'm still in disbelief of the 2 years passed before she officially was reported missing. Yeah, before this was officially reported. Me too. Yeah, I'm baffled by that. I think you guys are, yeah, it's a good reminder. It's like everyone is just like, what? How could this have happened? Okay, so let's see. Possibly November 2020. So we got a big jump here from June to November of 2020. Adam Montgomery and Kelsey Small start dating. Now, I don't know how accurate this is because it sounds like based on what Kayla is saying, is that they kind of split up shortly after Harmony would have went missing in November of 2019. At least that's what a lot of things are pointing to. And so I don't know about this June 2020 thing or this November 2020 thing, but apparently Kelsey Small is in the picture at this point. She said in her interview with police on December 31st, 2021, that they had been dating for over a year. Okay, so they'd been dating for over a year. So yeah, that would be over a year. So that would be November of 2020, but I think they were probably dating longer. Julie says, I'll go back and watch your previous shows, but what's with the uncle? So the uncle, Julie, he had reported that to see Harmony with bruises on her eye. Apparently Adam had said something about hitting her and claiming responsibility for hitting her, and the uncle maybe could have done more. Clearly, I think the uncle lived in Florida, but like I was saying in a previous stream, if I knew that some level of abuse like that was happening, I would fly across the country to stop it. And so I think the uncle knew of some unfortunate circumstances that were the circumstances that were happening, and it didn't sound like he did much. Junebug says, did Harmony and Oakley go missing around the same time? I'm not sure. Ty says, me too. Whenever anyone prepares, it's never as bad. Such a sad case. This reminds me of Summer Wells. Absolutely. That's a long time to pass. That's a huge head start in front of law enforcement. Yeah, Victoria, a lot can happen in 2 years. How do you hide a child missing for 2 years? How does that even happen? Luna, it's a good question. It's a good question. We're at almost the hour and a half mark. I'm going to keep reading through this a bit. If you would want me to open the phone lines, I can. I've been doing that in pretty much all of the streams to kind of round things off. I feel like it's nice to hear from people that do want to talk. And that's one thing about this platform that I liked, is to be able to give people a chance to speak. Not everyone wants to start their own YouTube channel and manage it and do all the things, but you guys are just as passionate about stories like this. And so I like the calls because it gives people an opportunity to speak and to kind of be heard and have their opinions heard. So if you'd like to call, or if you think I should open the lines, just say yes. And if I see enough yeses, I'll open it up for a little bit as I continue to read through this timeline. Kay says it's not easy to take a child from a parent. It's not that easy to take a child from a parent. Yeah. Tiffany, you are a wonderful soul. Oh, thank you, Tiffany. Appreciate it, Tiffany. Alexa. Ooh. Never mind. She like lit up. Also, Adam was responsible for Harmony losing vision on her right eye, according to the article. So he was apparently responsible. Interesting. Okay. Oh, Alex says I can't type. It's all good. I got what you were saying. And Kate, that's another thing we talked about in my last stream. COVID has caused some children to go under the radar in the system. Absolutely. We are now probably starting to see some of these stories where like certain protocols about welfare checks or whatever the case may be could have yes, do calls. Okay, I'll get the phone lines open. Alicia, if you are on standby, feel free to paste the number and we'll open up the lines. But yeah, I feel like Amy says I'm calling now. Amy, your call is going to come through very soon then. Just keep trying. But yeah, I bet a lot has flown under the radar. You need a code word for Alexa. Miss Wee Lassie, I need to just call Alexa Alex, and I've told her that before, and she said she's cool with me calling her Alex. I just sometimes read her full name. Oh, yes. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to get the number here. Oh, Alicia did post a number. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you. Alicia's in and out right now. Thank you so much for posting that. So yeah, if you'd like to call in, that is the number to call. 305-985-2690. It is a Google Voice number, and you will come through the stream, just your voice. And I try to keep the calls between 3 and 5 minutes, usually around 3. So I if you go beyond that, I'll probably start to cut you off just in case other people want to talk. So yeah. Although I will say COVID is not an excuse for some of these services. Like clearly people failed Harmony. I need to get sorry, Amy, if you're calling in, I forgot to click one more thing. Now it should work. If you want to call in, it should work now. Sorry to the people who've been trying to call. But yeah, it's not an excuse for sure. For sure. S'more says, s'mores or s'more. I don't understand these parents who have someone else who would take care of their babies and take them only to harm them. Evil. Yeah, absolutely. Also, I was talking a bit earlier, a lot of staff at DCF got COVID and or died from it. Interesting. I mean, a lot of people also recovered from it. It's not like they lost their entire staff and that's any sort of an excuse. I know that everyone was going through it, but you know what I mean? Okay. I wonder if this is Amy.
Call from
Amy.
It is Amy.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hey, Amy, how's it going?
Hi, how you doing? I have a few things. I'm sorry to bother you, Adam.
You're good. You're good. Call in anytime.
The first thing I want to say was that the time this occurred, there was no restrictions. There was no COVID issue.
Yeah.
So
couple months
my biggest
before.
My question is that was she in school, and if so, this school is supposed to monitor absences, and I work I'm a nurse. I work at a school,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's temporary. So the thing is that when we see kids that are not there for a long time, like we follow up with the principal. We make sure that that there's like a welfare check.
Yeah.
We make sure, like I'm very persistent. Like if I don't hear people calling back, I will call every half hour until I get that parent on the phone. And we document, we communicate with the school, and we do welfare checks. We've called the police on if we don't see parents.
Right. Yeah.
And we don't see a kid for a long time. And then hearing these cases really makes me work harder to make sure that no one falls through the cracks.
That's
and
good.
secondly, so that's the thing. That's the other question. And then you said Haverhill, right? Because my mom's from Massachusetts. I went to school in Massachusetts.
Okay.
Haverhill is the correct pronunciation. But
nice. Thank you.
Manchester's not such a bad town. I've been there.
Yeah,
and, I went to a wedding there, and it's very, because it was a nice area. It's just, I guess I haven't been there in a long time. Things must have changed. But I was just curious as to whether she was in school, because if she wasn't in school, that explains a lot, and that there should be a national CPS database where people can look things up. They shouldn't be separated by states. They should have it all connected. It's very important that they do that, so there's communication, because when you don't have communication, there's failure with everything. That's very important. So that's very sad what happened to this poor child, and that's all I have to say. I would say something about the Connecticut case, because I'm from there, but I'll stick to this case now. Okay.
All right. Well, thank you, Amy.
Have a good night.
You as well.
Bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.
I'm seeing Jay Barrett say that she wasn't registered in any school. So that's interesting. If she went missing in November or around that time frame between late November, December, the semester or her, whatever 9 weeks may have just ended or been ending. And then, we all know January through March of 2020 is when the rumblings of COVID started happening. She may have not been enrolled in school at that point. And so maybe no one was looking for her. Allie says, I don't think she could have been registered at a school, as teachers would have been looking for her. Absolutely. It doesn't sound like she was, Allie. So also, if you want to call in and try to hit the window, like I said in the early part of the stream, it's delayed. So if you see on the stream that I'm about to wrap up a phone call, try to use that as the time to call in, and you'll probably hit me actually when I'm hanging up, if that makes sense. So call in if you'd like. Thank you, Amy, for calling in. She brought up some good points, but it sounds like a lot of people. Katie says, nope, no school. I hope that this is right. If that's true, I know a lot of people know way more about this case than I do. So I believe you guys have looked further into it than I have at this point. Victoria says, I would just wonder what the excuse was he supposedly gave for dropping her off with her mom since he had full custody. Yeah, it seems like a total... it doesn't make sense, right? What's that excuse there? And then did he just never want to have anything to do with her ever again? Did anyone in his life question, hey, are you going to ever go see your daughter for her birthday or whatever? Don't you want her for this holiday? It's been a year. The mom's had her this whole time. And it's like, if he's just didn't all of a sudden want to have anything to do with her, he dropped her off. It is a little bit strange. Super, super strange. All right, another call. Here we go. Oh, they must have hung up. Oh, they hung up. Looks like they hung up. All right, whatever that 816 number was. I only see the first 3 digits of your number, by the way. I don't get your number. But that 816 number that called in, feel free to call back. I tried to call. It hung up on me, says Katie. Oh, it did. Interesting. If you're calling from another country, Katie, you may have to type 1 before the numbers, and then you might get through. I certainly didn't hang up on you. So if you tried to call, definitely try calling in. If you're calling from another country, type in 1 first. Let's see. Alicia, thank you for hiding the spam. There's like a person that's spamming things in here. I don't know. This happens on YouTube sometimes. Random spam messages. Yeah, anyways, I don't know really what else there is to talk about. Linda says he has a violent past and was physically abusive to her. I believe he is guilty of her disappearance. Absolutely. Sure, he spent 6 months denying access, and then he's just going to drop her off at mom's. Chris Davis dropping facts. Katie says, I'm in Missouri. Oh, interesting. I don't know. Try calling again, Katie, I'm going to refresh my page. Feel free to try calling again. Good old Missouri. I'll be back there soon. All right. Real quick, just to make sure I'm not missing something that I wanted to cover. Lovely Jubilee says, even on your channel, spam. Yeah, I think it genuinely is like bot type accounts that see that people are live and they have a few people watching them, and then they just spam like weird links or letters and numbers, like weird combinations of stuff. Cheryl says, try again, Katie. People want to hear Katie talk. Feel free to call back, Katie. I don't know what the deal was with that. Also, let's get the stream to 300 likes. We're 50 likes away. There's 315 people in here. Let's see where we're at on the sub count. See if anyone has jumped on the sub train. A few people have. Thanks for subscribing. We're nearing 17,200. I appreciate you guys hitting the like button, dropping by the stream. I hope you guys have a great weekend. We're nearing the end. Obviously, I'm going to take any and all calls that come in the next few minutes here, but I'm just gonna kind of keep reading the comments. Nova Scotia, very nice. I have a family member in Nova Scotia as well. I have family in Canada. All right, let's listen.
Call from
Katie.
Here's
To
Katie.
accept, press 1. To send a voice.
Hey Katie, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you've seen my message or that I texted you. I have the court information where she's like actually in, Kayla Montgomery's in court, and there's a lot of good information on there.
Oh, okay. Is it, you said you sent it to me? What'd you send it to me on?
Well, I can send you the link in the text if you want.
Oh, yeah. If you've got a link, if you can put it on YouTube, definitely I'll click that and take a look at it. I don't know if you have Twitter. My DMs are open on Twitter. I always forget to mention that, or I sometimes forget to mention that. But yeah, if you're able to send it on a link.
If you go to Google,
yeah,
you should be able to go to Google and type in Kayla Montgomery court hearing. I think it was 3 days ago or 4 days ago, something like that.
Okay, cool. Is it just okay, cool. Here we go. So
Did you
it's
do it?
the video,
Okay.
or are you seeing?
Yeah, you're actually in the courtroom.
Yeah.
And you can see what's going on. You can hear her like defense attorney and then the state arguing.
Okay, I see a 15-minute video, a 5-minute video. Okay, so maybe I'll just play a little bit of this 15-minute video. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I know that they were on heroin.
Say that again. Sorry.
I know that they were on heroin.
That was confirmed, or how did you?
Yeah. No, that's what Crystal had said. The mom.
Okay. Gotcha.
I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
she would know.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank
Interesting.
you.
Okay. Thanks, Katie. Thanks for sending that. All right.
All
Talk
right.
soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Katie, for sending that over. Of course, I'm going to bring this video over. We'll play a little bit of this video, and then maybe in between calls we'll pause. So if you still want to call in, feel free. Maybe I'll just start playing this video a bit, and we'll listen in on this the hearing for Kayla, which is the stepmother to Harmony, who claims to have nothing to do with Harmony's disappearance, claims to know nothing about Harmony. Let's listen in on this. The call line is still open. If you'd like to call in, we'll pause and take a break and listen in. Victoria says because if she knew her mom was going to claim her, she would have got busted, or if she even thought the mom would claim her. Interesting. Chris says one account of visit from CPS to Kayla said that Kayla said she was at her mom's that weekend and had some sort of same story several times. CPS couldn't catch her there. All right, let's listen in. Thanks guys for all your comments.
So we're going to begin by my asking you, Attorney Garrity, have you reviewed the complaint with Ms. Montgomery? And did you discuss with her the maximum penalties for the charge?
I did.
And does she wish to enter a plea at this time? All right. Ms. Montgomery, you reviewed the complaint with your counsel? And you understand the maximum penalty for this charge? And you wish to enter a plea of not guilty at this time, is that correct? All right. The clerk will enter a plea of not guilty on this charge. What we're going to do now, Ms. Montgomery, is I'm going to take up the issue of bail. I'm going to hear from the state first, and then I'll hear from you and your counsel. You may be seated. Attorney O'Neill?
The state's request is slightly different from what's in the proposed bail order, just because I didn't have the capability to scratch out the corporate charity part of the state's request is $5,000 cash only bail. I also have conditions of no contact with Adam Montgomery. If the defendant is released, that she live at a specific address, of which I'm not aware, which is one of the issues I intend to raise, that she not travel up.
It's kind of hard to hear him, right? I can hear the woman with her mic, but it's a little hard to hear him.
Outside of New Hampshire, that she not possess a firearm or other weapon that's delineated there, that she not consume an excessive amount of alcohol or use any narcotic or controlled substance, that she sign a waiver of extradition, and that if she is released, that she check in daily in person at the Manchester Police Department.
All the things: you can't possess a firearm, can't consume excessive amounts of alcohol. I guess that's all the rules being placed on Kayla at this point, I guess.
For this request, Your Honor, is the defendant's status as flight risk, and what the state would argue is clear and convincing evidence that the nature of the allegations presents a substantial risk that the defendant will not appear, and that there's no reasonable alternative that will assure her offense. A lot of this is grounded in the defendant's criminal record. All its your case,
yeah, it's a little hard to hear. Cheryl even says hard to hear. I'm going to end this poll and see what it says here. This I can link down below if anyone would like to listen to it. Maybe I'll skip forward and see if something else comes back on.
Based on what the
May of 2021.
Here
line if you're
left high school in her senior year, got her GED in 2009. Her mother lives.
I'm going to keep playing it from here for a moment. It's a little hard to hear. I'm going to turn them up on your guys' end just a hair, but if you guys absolutely can't hear it, I'll bow out of this. But yeah, we'll listen in a little bit more.
Left high school in her senior year, got her GED in 2009. Her mother lives at 258 Dubuque Street in Manchester. She has an aunt that lives in Manchester. Her grandmother and uncle live in New Hampshire.
Hey, Victor, did you see that thing I just sent you guys?
Okay, hold on. We're going to see where her mom lives. What was that address?
Aunt that lives in Manchester. Her grandmother and uncle live in New Hampshire.
Hey, Victor, did you see that thing I just sent you?
2009. Her mother lives at 258 Dubuque Street in Manchester. She has an aunt that lives in Manchester. Her grandmother and uncle live in New Hampshire.
Hey, Victor, did you see that thing I just sent you guys? Okay. Thanks so much, Victor.
Please mute your line if you're on the WebEx.
Please don't yell.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Attorney Garrity.
Don't yell on the Zoom.
She has one brother that lives in Texas, but basically the majority of her family live in New Hampshire. She has 3 young children. They are 4 years old, 2 years old, and 1 year old. She was residing with them at 177 Lake Ave and at the family's in transition location. She had been residing there since July of 2021. They are now in the custody of her mother. I've spoken with her mother, Christina Lubin, who's told me this morning that if Kayla was released, that Kayla could come and live with her at 258 Dubuque Street.
Okay, so Katie's saying wrong court hearing. That was the first one. I mean, I haven't listened to the first one yet. So this is all new to me. Katie, thank you for mentioning these. I really don't know. I mean, there's still so many. Do we go into the other ones? I think what they said, obviously they talked about the kids being with the mother now of Crystal. I believe he said 258 Dubuque Street in New Hampshire, which is actually really close to that house where where they were checking the backyard. That's like really close. Let's see how close that is. Doing a little bit of map time. So here's the house. Yeah, here's the house they checked on the backyard in. Directions from Dubuque Street. Wow, 2 miles. I mean, not that that's like that crazy of a thing. I guess it's further than I thought, but so apparently Kayla's mother lives here. Really big house. Oh my gosh. Like, it's a pretty big house. 3 stories. Quite a few windows. I mean, that's a pretty, unless there's multiple units actually in this one. Might be like a multi-unit situation. Anyways, it will repeat it all in the court hearing from 3 days ago. Julie says, let's listen to court. Yeah, I'll listen back. Let's listen back into the court. I wanted to look at that address though. I'll listen to the rest of this, and then I'll maybe see what Katie's talking about. Maybe I'll try to find the more current court video, and then we'll wrap up the stream. Because we're getting close to 2 hours. Stephanie says, didn't she admit that it was a lie her and Adam made up that Harmony didn't go to her mom's? I don't know, Stephanie. I don't know if that's confirmed or not. Someone also said, someone said something about where were their phones pinging during that 13-day period. I can't remember who commented that. I saw it go by though. And that's a good question. I don't know if they've gotten any warrants or like access to the phone records at this point to see if Adam truly did go to Massachusetts to drop Harmony off or not. But Kate is going to bed. Good night, Kate. See you Monday. Have a nice weekend. Yeah, you as well. Enjoy your slumber. Thanks for joining. Yeah, let's listen in on this a bit more, I guess, and then we'll go from there.
She's resided at that location for about 14 years.
Attorney Garrity, just so that I understand, she was living at Families in Transition with the children since July of 2021, and the children are now
with the mother.
Okay, but custody hasn't changed.
It has not changed. And it's my understanding that to reside at Families in Transition, she has to have the children with her. That's a little I know about that location. But she was also working. She worked full-time at Morgan Records Management. That's located on Frontage Road in Manchester. She had worked there since September 2021. That was a full-time job. She was working 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Prior to that, she worked at Project Flagging in Hooksett. Prior to that, my understanding, she worked at Dunkin' Donuts in Manchester. So she has a history of employment. She has a close relationship with her children, and she's got significant ties to the area and has a place to reside. But the $5,000 cash bail, given her limited resources, would lead to her detention. And I think the whole point of the amendment to the bail statute that took place a few years ago is that financial resources should not give an impediment to people being released on bail. There are conditions as laid out by the state in their proposed bail order that would assure the court and the state that she would appear in future court appearances.
For me, Dropbox is a seamless way of...
I gotta get YouTube Premium. I'm getting calls. Okay, hold on. I just missed a call from my beautiful wife. Let me text her. All right, let's get back into this.
And just with respect to her compliance with court orders and bail conditions and the prior record, I know the state talks about the events that took place in Grafton County. She was about 21 or 22 years old at that time. She didn't have her children at that time. The last conviction, and what the state didn't tell you, is that that conviction took place in 2015. That was a deferred sentence that, as I'm sure the court knows, requires that she come back to court and show compliance. She did so in 2016. That conviction also required that she undergo a LADAC evaluation, at least from what I can see from the record, that she comply with a LADAC evaluation and comply with any recommendations. From the record, in September of 2016, she was able to show the court she was in compliance and the case was closed. Since that time, she's had no prior interaction with the criminal justice system. All of that took place when she was approximately 25 years old. She's now a woman of 31 years old, 3 young children, and her lack of record since 2015, I think, indicates to the court, and her compliance with the events and books at this report shows that she can comply and will comply with court orders and show up, as she did in 2016, with any scheduled court appearances. So I would ask the court to release her on personal recognizance with the conditions laid out by the state, with the condition that she reside with her mother at 258 Dubuque Street. That's on the first floor, in Manchester. Thank you.
And
Okay. So I hate to do this in the middle of a stream. Well, we're nearing the end of a stream. I'm going to have to post this link in the description. I actually have to go very, very soon. Something came up, and I gotta hop off. But I'm going to post the link down below to the court video if you'd like to watch it. If you are watching the restream, any of that. Let's see. But I've got to wrap up the stream somewhat quickly. Basically, beautiful wife is on her way home, and I have to let her into the building. So it's nothing crazy going on. I just have to hop off here in the next 5 or 10 minutes. So I don't want to take this to the very end and then just hop off quickly right when she calls, but I have to be ready when she's here. So I'm going to round off the stream by saying thank you. Thank you guys for being here, for one. Thank you to Katie for letting me know about these videos. I hadn't looked into these. This was a very last-minute stream. I wanted to touch back on, like I said, the case and at least kind of get back into it. I know that there wasn't a ton of new info, but there was some new info in terms of, since I talked about it last. Alex, I don't know if you can do a 1-year channel membership. I'm going to look into that tonight. I made a note. Alicia just messaged me. I'm going to ask one of my buddies who's way more well-versed in the YouTube stuff. I don't know. The fact that you even are considering or wanting to consider supporting me for that long, I appreciate it. But yeah, I'll let you know possibly in the next stream. Thank you guys for being here. Like I said in the last stream, we're doing a tier 2 membership stream only on Monday. So the people that are part of the tier 2 club, which there is a new member today that has been added to that, you are all welcome to join that. Of course, I have to say thanks to the current tier 2 members that are on the screen right now. In addition to that, Jasmine, who I believe was added to the tier 2 since the last stream. I need to add her to this list or add them to this list. But thank you to the tier 2 supporters. I hope to see you guys at the live stream on Monday. We're just gonna chat about whatever. We're gonna hang out. So yeah, we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna talk about cases. We're gonna just hang out, and maybe I'll do a Q&A. I think I'm gonna do a Q&A so people in those tier 2 only live streams, you can learn a little bit more about me. So come bearing your questions. Cheryl says, praying hands for all the children. My goodness, even if you're not someone who prays, pray for the children. Send the vibes out there for the missing children in the world. They need it. Thanks for the update. Thank you so much, Tina, for being here. Darla says, hope everything is okay, Aaron. Great job. Oh, absolutely, Darla. Yeah, everything is just fine. Got to go let beautiful wife into the building because, you know, she lives here as well. So yeah, thanks again to the tier 2 supporters. Okay, Aaron, 5 minutes are up. Have a good weekend. Victoria, thank you for reminding me. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to let her into the building. She hasn't called me, so she's not here yet, but thank you guys. If you want to check out any of the old videos, I have made a Summer Wells. I've made a Harmony Montgomery playlist. I've only covered this twice. Now this is the third video, so check the description if you'd like to see any of my previous coverage. Hopefully we have more information soon. I probably won't cover this until maybe something new happens. So hopefully something happens very soon and we can hop on here and hopefully cover it together. Until then, have a great weekend. Stay safe. Stay warm if you're at a place that's cold, and enjoy the outdoors if you're able to enjoy that wherever you are. And I'll see you guys in the next stream. Peace.